Hi, it's Biddy Penny, and I'm here with one stamp, three ways, and a ton of hacks. All right, I'm back to digitals. I love them. So I'm showing you here you can resize them, but one of the main hacks behind this video is the no line coloring hack. So Christina Warner did a video a week or so ago and showed a couple of ways to do it with like a light box and stuff, and I was like, whoa, that is so complicated. I mean, cool, very cool, but I've always done it like this, and so I thought I'd share the video. I print at 20% opacity, so that's my big hack. And now I use a program, and maybe, I use a Mac, and so I use Pages. And in that app, I can, like on this page, select which ones I want no lines, select which ones I want to do at 100%. And it's just so efficient and so amazing. They can be any size. It's just awesome. So I didn't leave in the coloring because I'm just so basic with Copic coloring. But one thing I wanted to share are these pens. They are amazing. I love them so much. I use them all the time. And what I'm doing with them here is going in and redrawing the lines. So when you do a no line coloring with this 20% opacity, you have to draw it all back in. So there's enough there for you to see it to color it initially, but you will have to draw in the detail again. So that's what I'm using these for. I can't get the fine lines without using something like this, a fine tip. So this stamp was drawn so well. I loved it so much. It was so much fun to color. I colored it 3 different ways, and I enjoyed all of them. And another thing I wanted to share is that I used the exact same colors for these 2 images, the exact same markers. And I think that really says a lot. Like, it shows how much, the lines of a stamp can change the look of your final product. It's just amazing. So, that's something to think about when you find stamps and you're thinking about making a card. The more you practice this using the same markers as I did here, you'll really kind of gather an appreciation for how different something can look. And I love no line coloring because it has that storybook look to it for me, and I really like that. So this is a technique I've been using for a long time. I've been using digital stamps for at least the last 2 years in my card making, and I'm so excited that more companies are starting to release them and promote them, because they don't replace regular stamp sets for me, but they certainly, I think they're amazing. So now when I do no line coloring, I always highlight with silver like I did here versus white. So I think the white highlighting that a lot of people like to do, I'm going to do it here on this one, looks great with the black lines. But to me, silver or gold looks a little better with no line coloring, depending on what you're going for. So here I'm doing a stencil, and I am taking the pad directly to the paper, and I'm wanting a dry brush look as well as the stenciled image. And then, but for smaller pieces like this top one, that technique doesn't really work. It's better to just go ahead and blend. But I wanted to show you that. I am working with stencils, and I am going to hashtag this. So Carrie Rhodes put out another challenge in August to use a not too shabby digital image that has food, as well as a stencil. And I've done one, the watermelon card, and I just thought I would do this one as well. I wanted to share this technique, and so I thought I would just kind of do it all. All right, so I made those little hearts brown like little coffee hearts, and those are going to be the background for that card. All right, big hack number 2 here. This is what I call my airbrush technique. Okay, so like I said before, I've been doing the digital stamps for a while, and I make hundreds of cards every year, and I donate hundreds of cards every year. So I have found this technique to be so fun and so fast. Um, the things I like about it is, I mean, obviously it's fast. Um, I like it on a 1 layer card for whatever reason. It's so much fun because you could just like color the pumpkin with like the scarf on a 1 layer card and then do ink blending around it. But this is how I use it most of the time. So I use all these tiny little brushes that I got with on Amazon when I bought these brushes for ink blending. They're makeup brushes. And you get like a circular one. You get, well, with the pack that I bought, you get all different sizes. And I just love it because I can do this technique. So I'm following the same color, pattern that I had used previously in the other 2 examples. I don't want to recreate the wheel here. I'm just following that and doing this technique. So it's fun doing this because I find that I don't worry about like shading and light source and dimension and all that other stuff. You're really just adding just a soft tint to a card, and I like that. It also almost looks like it was printed. It's just really interesting. I call it my airbrush technique. I don't know what else to call it because I feel like that's the most accurate, description of the results that you get. So, I definitely recommend you play around with this. I have tried it in a few different ways, and this is what I've come up with that works for me. So, I'm going to finish up here. I'm just going to let this keep going. I don't have too much more to add. I mean, you can see what I'm doing here. And I left all of this in so you could see me working with it. I guess the last thing I would add is that I do go lightest to darkest when I'm coloring. So, I went with the pumpkin and the scarf first, and then I'll fill in the darker spots. You do want to make sure that your brushes are dry, completely dry when you're doing this. If you've recently like cleaned them or something, don't try this technique. Or if they've been wet at all, make sure that they're dry for the best results. Okay, and one of the last things I wanted to share is that when I do this, when I do it on a 1 layer card, I do this kind of halo effect. And also when I cut the images out like I did here, when I fussy cut them, I still like to do a halo effect of color instead of leaving the white border. Like I'll cut leaving the white border and I fill it in. I've just found that this is my favorite way of doing it. So down here I'm able to add the shadow. Okay, let's assemble some cards, shall we? So this one I had used Lawn Fawn's Fall Fling, the Kyle print, and this it's double-sided paper, so that's where this paper came from. And I used foam sheets to give myself dimension there. And then I'm going to bring in these cat scrappiness hearts. I have the 6mm matte gold and then those heart sprinkles. And we're going to use them and have so much fun with them. I haven't been embellishing my cards lately with sequins. It's something that comes and goes for me. So I guess for these cards I felt like I had to add a little extra. This one's for my sister-in-law. She and I need to go get coffee. We live next door to each other, but still, we need to go get coffee. Quarantine has been so strange. Okay, I really liked the contrast of that darker paper behind this. I also felt like, you know, the design lent itself to the composition of the stamp. And then I wanted to sprinkle hearts all around it, just like all the fallen leaves. I just thought that was so fun. And if you're counting dots, I have an even number. Ooh. I know everyone's always talking about odd numbers, and it is true, right? Like, it's true. However, when you're just putting a ton of embellishments on a card like this, you don't really have to count. And especially because I'm using like 3 different colors and everything, like, it's okay. Just have fun. So now with this one, I have my stenciled background. I popped up my pumpkin there, and then I'm just tucking these little pieces behind. I am going to go ahead and draw in a shadow. You get a shadow when you add dimension, like using the foam tape, but I wanted to emphasize it. So that's what I'm doing here. I felt like it needed to be grounded, especially because the stenciling I had done is kind of like sky blue, and I didn't want it to look like this thing was floating through the air. Okay, I embellished some craft cardstock, or I didn't embellish it, I embossed it. Sorry, it's very late. So yeah, I embossed craft cardstock, and I'm going to add some hearts here. Now, I wish I would have added 2 because it's a his and hers, but whatever. So here they are, the final results. You've made it. It's the end. I would love to hear which one's your favorite. I'd like to know which one you're drawn to, and hopefully these hacks are new to you and that they take your card making with digital stamps to the next level. Please like and subscribe. It would make me happy. Bye.